Breaking news: Putin and Trump's legal troubles. During his wide-ranging remarks on Tuesday, which also included discussion of the war in Ukraine and Elon Musk, President Vladimir V. Putin praised the criminal cases against Donald J. Trump as good for Russia and an indication of the rottenness of the American system. For many years, Vladimir Putin has shown an ability to capitalize on political tensions within Western countries, often by suggesting to conservatives elsewhere that he is on their side in the fight against liberal values. Speaking at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, in southeastern Russia, on Tuesday, he seemed to be adding fuel to the Republican outcry over the prosecutions of Mr. Trump, who has long expressed public admiration for the Russian leader and has helped encourage a sizable Moscow-friendly contingent within the GOP. Putin viewed the investigation and prosecution of Trump as a good thing because it exposed the rottenness of the American political system, which cannot pretend to teach others about democracy. Everything that has happened to Trump is the result of a campaign of political persecution against him. Exactly, he affirmed. And it's happening in full view of the American people and the rest of the world. They've just shown everyone their true colors. Those cases reveal who is fighting us, Mr. Putin said. Even after leaving office, Mr. Trump has continued to praise Mr. Putin, most recently calling the Russian leader's decision to invade Ukraine pretty smart. Mr. Putin praised SpaceX founder and billionaire Elon Musk on Tuesday, despite Musk's influence in the Ukraine conflict coming under scrutiny in recent days. Mr. Musk admitted last week that he had stopped a 2022 Ukrainian attack on Russia's Black Sea naval fleet by refusing to let the Ukrainian military use his satellite network, Starlink, to guide its drones, provoking a furious response from a top official in Kyiv and renewing questions about the global power wielded by a multi-billionaire businessman. Mr. Putin called the billionaire entrepreneur an active, talented businessman, adding that Musk is widely regarded as an outstanding person in the world of private enterprise. It was reminiscent of Vladimir Putin's initial description of Donald Trump as brilliant and talented when the latter announced his bid for the presidency of the United States in 2015. While preparing to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who arrived in Russia on Tuesday, Mr. Putin made the comments at an economic conference in the eastern Russian city of Vladivostok. The Russian leader made the following remarks. In response to Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken's statement that he has seen no evidence that President Vladimir Putin is interested in meaningful diplomacy, President Putin suggested that Ukraine lift its ban on negotiations with Russia while Mr. Putin is in office in order to facilitate talks between the two countries. In September 2022, President Volodymyr Zelensky issued a decree saying that negotiations with Mr. Putin were impossible, but he left the door open for talks with Russia. The latest indication that Mr. Putin intends for Russia's invasion of Ukraine to continue is the country's military recruitment efforts, with Mr. Putin claiming that some 270,000 Russians have voluntarily signed up for service in the past 6 to 7 months, with 1,000 to 1,500 more signing up each day. When asked if there would be another mobilization to bolster Russian forces, he avoided the question. Mr. Putin stated that Western nations are attempting to slow China's development because they are jealous of the country's rapid progress under Xi Jinping's leadership. He said they are doing everything they can to slow the development of China, but this will not be possible. The departure announcement has been made. After meeting this year in Moscow, Mr. Putin and Mr. Xi declared an enduring economic partnership, which came about in part as a means of circumventing Western sanctions. Arkady Volas, co-founder of the Russian tech company Yandex, likely felt forced to make certain statements in order to maintain good relations with the authorities in Israel, where he relocated after condemning Russia's war in Ukraine as barbaric. Well, God bless him, may he have a good life there, Mr. Putin continued. After the European Union sanctioned Mr. Volas for materially or financially supporting the invasion, he resigned as CEO of Yandex, which is often referred to as Russia's Google. Mr. Putin warned Russian businessmen to keep their funds in the country, saying, "We see what is happening with capital, where it is moving." The confiscation of Russian assets by Western governments, he added, crossed all lines. The Russian central bank reported in July that $253 billion had been taken out of the country since the beginning of the war.